Hello YouTube, my name is Nero. Today we have some more Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered, and for this video, I would like to run an idea past you guys. So as most of you know, I've been making these videos covering cut content in the Call of Duty series, different ideas, weapons, maps, perks, things that were originally created for a Call of Duty game that were ultimately scrapped during production. What if we could see some of this cut content in modern games? What if Raven Software were to implement cut features from Call of Duty 4 into Modern Warfare Remastered? Believe it or not, they've actually started to do this already. The MAC-10 submachine gun that you can only get in supply drops was actually a cut weapon from Call of Duty 4. It was originally going to be in Call of Duty 4's multiplayer. There was also a cut sniper rifle called the AW-50, which was going to be a bolt-action 50 cal, which sounds pretty freaking awesome, but unfortunately, it was cut super early on, but you can still access it via console commands, and people have been able to play around with it. So as you guys can see, it's a super unfinished gun. It still has the appearance of the Dragunov because it doesn't have its own model because it was cut so early on, but it does have a very different sound. It has a 5-round magazine, and the delay that you are seeing in between shots is due to the weapon actually being bolt action. So this is what it looks like in real life, and as most of you know, it has been leaked to us that a new sniper rifle is coming to Modern Warfare Remastered supply drops this month. So could the AW-50 finally be making its appearance in the Modern Warfare series? Time will tell. What about some of the maps, right? I did a full video showing off how some of the Call of Duty 4 maps looked during the pre-alpha, and in that video, we were actually able to see some gameplay of maps that were eventually cut from the game. We all know that Favela and Invasion were originally cut from Call of Duty 4 and repurposed in Modern Warfare 2. What if those maps were to make their way into Modern Warfare Remastered? I would especially like this if they were to use the original layouts that they had in Call of Duty 4, because as you guys know, Favela was much different in Call of Duty 4 as compared to what it was like in Modern Warfare 2. I think that would be really, really awesome. What about some of the maps that we've never actually seen before? Facility, Mansion, Forest, Palace, Rooftops, Suburbs, Cell Block. These were all maps that were cut from Call of Duty 4 that maybe there's video out there that exists of them, but they're very hard to find. Very few and far between these videos, right? These were maps that were cut super early on. We can see their mini-map layouts here in this video, of course, but we don't know what they're actually going to play like. We've never actually seen them before. What if those were to make their way into Modern Warfare Remastered in one way or another? What about some of the nighttime versions of core maps in Call of Duty 4, such as District, Overgrown, Strike? These were maps that were cut from the game. I think it would be incredibly interesting if some of this stuff were to show up in Modern Warfare Remastered, and in my opinion, it would still stay true to Call of Duty 4 because all of this content was originally designed to be in the game. Now, of course, the catch is cut content is usually cut for a reason. Sometimes that reason is going to be a time constraint. They simply just don't have enough time to finish all the projects that they started. Another reason might be that you simply don't have enough hardware to actually work with all the stuff they're trying to do, especially back in the day with the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. That was a big problem. Every single year, they had to squeeze more and more and more out of that very limited hardware. That's not as big of an issue today as hardware gets better and better, but still, that's definitely a big problem at times. But I feel as though the biggest reason most content is cut is simply because it isn't good content and it didn't work out for one reason or another. A good example of this would be Favela. They cut it from Call of Duty 4. They decided to redo the layout a little bit. They put it in Modern Warfare 2. Suddenly, it's one of the best maps of all time, right? That's why I propose, instead of selling cut content in Modern Warfare Remastered, which may or may not actually work out, I feel as though Raven Software should implement them into events and or community challenges. What is every developer's goal, right? Think about that. What is the goal of every single developer? Obviously, to sell tons of copies and keep people playing their games so they will eventually buy microtransactions and or DLC. That is the goal of pretty much every developer on planet Earth. Raven Software has been doing a pretty good job of holding events so far. If you really think about it, we had the Winter Crash event, we had the Daybreak St. Patrick's Day event, we of course have had all the Weekend Warfare events. They're doing a pretty good job there, but I feel as though they should implement cut Call of Duty 4 multiplayer maps into Weekend Warfare. Now, I'm just one guy, and this is just my personal opinion, and feel free to disagree. free, but I've thought of so many different ways for them to implement a system like this. They could start by adding a mosh pit playlist of cut Call of Duty 4 maps as a Weekend Warfare event. Maybe do one map at a time or do a couple of maps at a time and use Weekend Warfare as basically a free beta test for the maps themselves. Sometimes the maps are going to be bad, but I imagine some of the maps are actually going to be pretty good and players are going to want to continue playing on them. They could then take the good maps and implement them into the game for free, or lock them behind a community challenge of some sort. Let's say, hypothetically, the cut map Forest turns out to be a big hit with the fans. We all really enjoy playing on this map. Looking at the layout, it kind of reminds me of, what's that map from Black Ops 3? Gauntlet, where it's like an arena almost, but there's a bunch of trees and stuff like that. What if Raven Software were to come out after having a couple Weekend Warfare events and say, all right, everyone, you really seem to like Forest, so we're going to implement it into the game's standard rotation for free, but here's the catch. You guys have to complete this community challenge. They could set the challenge to be, I don't know what would be a good number, honestly, but 1 million headshots or something like that, and we need to achieve that within a certain period of time. If we don't complete it, then maybe we get to try a different challenge at a later date and eventually get the map. I think that would be a really awesome system. All the while, they could still be beta testing different cut multiplayer maps through Weekend Warfare while still hosting regular events such as Prop Hunt, Slashers, Snipers Only, Shotguns Only, and of course doing the holiday events that they see fit. I imagine we're going to get at least one more holiday event. I'm really hoping we get a Halloween event, but I think that would be a very good system. The best part here is Modern Warfare Remastered is actually going to become available, or at least it's been leaked, but it's going to become available for individual purchase later this month for the PlayStation 4 and next month for the Xbox One and the PC. So I think it would be a really good idea for them to implement a system like this because it would get the new fans involved with the community right away. Now, of course, they could just implement these maps as like paid DLC, charging $15 for 4 cut multiplayer maps, but I think they understand how bad the variety map pack turned out. Now, I don't have the numbers or anything like that, but I imagine it didn't turn out very well, and I think it would be a big mess if everyone were to catch wind that they're just repurposing old cut obsolete maps from Call of Duty 4 and making us pay to actually be able to play them in Modern Warfare Remastered. Like, I would probably buy the map pack, honestly, but I feel as though it would be much better to implement these maps via community events and Weekend Warfare and stuff like that as compared to just nickel and diming fans for content that was originally classified as obsolete. I think it would be a big stink if they were to do something like that. Those are just some of my thoughts. I think it would be a really awesome idea. The last thing I would want to see happen to Modern Warfare Remastered is have it just kind of fade off into the sunset as we get closer and closer to Call of Duty World War II. I don't want this to become just a game that was like an experiment that failed and everyone kind of forgot about it pretty much. I would love to see them actually supporting Modern Warfare Remastered going forward, and this is a way they could do that while still staying true to Call of Duty 4. I think it's a good idea, but of course, feel free to disagree. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section below. What ideas do some of you guys have? Feel free to post them down there in the comments and upvote the ones that you guys like the most. As we learned in yesterday's video, Raven Software does seem to at least keep somewhat of an eye on YouTube videos, so maybe some of our ideas will actually make their way to them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop me a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.